Hey y'all, I'm Chad Kerr, and you're watching Ride the Maverick TV. Episode 4, Fresh Like Insecure, Season 3. Let's get it. So, Daniel King, man, you fucked up, man. It's over. I feel like this is probably going to be the last time that we see Daniel on our television screens on Insecure. It is over. You fucked up, man. You didn't chase Issa away. She finally seen you for who you really are. And you are. What I think about Daniel? Well, he's clearly insecure, but I feel like he's just like an asshole. Like he's probably someone who's good on paper, but then when you finally really get to know him, you're probably like, oh yeah, I probably should have like further investigated before I invested my time in this motherfucker because we got to see how unsupportive he was of literally everything that Issa wanted to do. He always had some no, 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 and he was really anti with all of her shit. Although she was supporting him to the fullest as far as you know supporting his decision that will persuaded him to go to the club and then they'll talk to, Spider and all of that stuff. But when it came to the shit that she wanted to do, it was always some resistance, some opposition, some shit like that. Something that'll make her feel a way about doing it to where she didn't want to do it anymore. And then Issa just finally she had grown enough of that shit and she had moved the fuck on. And we see her moving the fuck on in the beginning of this episode where Issa finally has a mirror. I can tell like she was just super excited to have that goddamn mirror, and I was excited for her because these past couple of episodes, and it wasn't just me. I talked to people, and they were like, something is missing when Insecure, and nobody could put their finger on it. They were like, maybe they shouldn't have got rid of Lawrence. Maybe they need to bring some more people in. No, we needed that fucking mirror because that's literally what makes insecure is the fact that Issa gets her ass in front of that mirror and starts rapping away, and we hadn't seen that in the first 3 episodes of what I presume to be this 8 episode season. So it was fun to see her back in front of this goddamn mirror to Daniel's whole ass decided that he was going to interrupt her. Cause the door, in the trailer, it was literally that same scene. Oh, also, we also see like they jump shark with Mirror Bitch talking back to Issa. I hope that's not about to be a thing in the show. I do not want Mirror Bitch talking back to Issa. So hopefully that's the first and last time we hear lines from Mirror Bitch. But Daniel interrupts Issa and she goes to get the door and he is giving her shit. Now, I'm like, the first time when I seen that in the trailer, I'm thinking she was doing that at his house, because that was literally the same scene that was in the trailer. But no, we actually see that's the bathroom. That scene takes place at Issa's crib, that she's living at on her own. She's not being, well, in that case, Lawrence wasn't really supporting her ass because she was supporting Lawrence, but she's there by herself doing her motherfucking thug thizzle in her own place, in her own bathroom with her own mirror, and he's outside giving her the rest of her own shit. And she's just like, it's unfortunate, it came to this, I appreciate everything. And, Daniel, he didn't want to hear all that. Obviously, he's still upset because literally nothing is going Daniel's way. The song didn't make Ty Dolla $ign's album. The collaboration that he had on with Khalil didn't go well when they brought the music to Spider. And now he couldn't even get Issa to stay in his house, let alone whatever relationship he may have wanted to have with her in the future. Nothing is going Daniel's way. And this is just more shit to just go awry or Ari for motherfucking Daniel. So, they say their goodbyes, and Molly walks past him. Hey, oh, you out? And he like, yeah, I'm gone. She like, bye, Daniel. She ain't never gave a fuck about Daniel anyway, so she was delighted to see that motherfucker was gone. So she comes in and she's like, bitch, you got these nice blinds and these nice floors and shit. You about to have this new shit like Issa's like, which is what a lot of us are like. She's like, bitch, every time we try to claim some new shit, we get sucked back into our old ways and just fuck it up for everything that we had coming our way. So she was like, I ain't doing none of that new shit, new bitch shit. I'm just gonna continue on the way I've been continuing on. And Molly's like, nah, bitch, fuck all of that. It's some new shit, and you can't have no new shit bringing in your old shit. So we're gonna get rid of the old shit. So she's throwing away motherfucking books. She was throwing away, little mix CDs. I'm like, oh my God, times have really changed. Like the fact that back in the day, we all used to go to LimeWire and download hella random songs and put them all on one CD until we had our fucking iTunes playlist come out. So we put all that shit on iTunes, and if we want to make a CD, we would do that. But me being the teenager that I was at the time, I didn't have no car to really utilize a CD, so I would used to have that shit on my iTunes. Then everybody used to have their little motherfucking iPods, iPod Nanos, and Zooms and shit that they would put the shit that they downloaded illegally from LimeWire on instead of using them CDs. But I'm like, man, back in the day, I just remember my sister having a car, and she would just have hella bootleg CDs, mixed CDs, and then every time a new song come out, you had to redo that whole CD with all the old songs and just add that one new song somewhere in the middle or at the very end and just loop that shit so the fucking CD starts over and you ain't gotta keep pausing and playing or whatever the process was. And Issa's like, no, bitch, don't throw away my shit. Lawrence gave that to me, and she's like, I'm like, bitch, you should definitely give away from throw away that shit because you and Lawrence are finished, okay? That relationship has long since sailed. Daniel's a hoe, and y'all moved on. You don't need no keepsakes from that bitch. What was his last name? Lawrence Walker, something with a W. You don't need no keepsakes from Lawrence. That is long since gone. So she gets rid of that shit, and Molly's like, I'm just not satisfied with my black law firm because it's like, bitch, I wanted more money that the whites weren't willing to pay me, and the blacks are paying me, but it's just not enough. So I think I'm just. And Issa's like, bitch, stop being. And then this is just another thing with Molly that this is just her character flaw that gets on my nerves is that Molly does not know what the fuck she wants. It's like, or if she gets what she wants and it's not delivered to her how the way she wants it delivered, then she's just gonna nitpick and nitpick and nitpick. And it's like, Molly, you can't have it all. If you're not satisfied with your black law firm who's paying you what you're worth, start your own practice. Start your own firm. That way you can have all the shit that you want, and then you ain't gotta be worrying about what people are paying you, because then you can just pay people. Seriously. But Issa gives her little pep talk. She's like, bitch, what do take your fire ass self to your black ass law firm and do you. So she does that, and she goes in and they're at this round table meeting. That I'm assuming didn't even start on time. Was Malcolm there? Y'all let me know if Malcolm was there. So she's there, and the meeting is going really, really well. Aside from the fact that Molly cannot seem to get her ideas out. Like, the other women on the side were giving their ideas, and then in the middle of her talking and giving her piece, all of a sudden Torian decides to just cut her ass the fuck off and just literally takes the motherfucking floor. Now, here's my thing. I don't know why, especially Molly doesn't really seem like that. I don't think she's ever been that timid of a character in the show. But for me, once I get going, there's no way you're cutting me off. No way in hell that you cut me off. Once I get, it just isn't gonna happen. And the fact that that's something that Torian does, and all the women just fall in line, it's just no. Especially to any woman watching, you cannot fall in line. You have to. You can't say, oh, you can't look at life as, oh, I'm a woman, he's a man. You have to look at like, no, we're all people. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans, and we all need to do what the fuck we got to do to make sure we are all seen, heard, and respected. You cannot allow people to just overtalk you. And I don't give a fuck about that bitch being a graduate of Morehouse. I don't give a fuck about none of that, because we're not at Morehouse anymore. We're at this black ass law firm, and all of us need to be fucking heard. So and then another thing that it reminded me of was that episode of Girlfriends when, and this episode irritates the hell out of me. I'll tell why. But this episode of Girlfriends where Joan was expressing her opinion, giving her idea, that William cut her ass off, like deliberately cut her off. And this just kills me, like when you cut people off, and it's like, in order for you to cut somebody off, they have already had to been talking. You heard them talking and you just proceeded to cut them off anyway. Like, how does that happen? Like I said, there's no cutting me off. Once I get look, I do YouTube. There's no way you cutting me off. Once these thoughts get going, that to where I'm expressing them through my mouth, there's no way you're cutting that off. But anyway, William cut Joan off, stole her idea, and then when Joan confronted his ass about it, he never acknowledged it and he never apologized, which is why the episode was so irritating to me. Because it's like, bitch, one thing, you ain't gonna cut me off, but if you do happen to catch me slipping, cut me off, and I say something about it, there's no way you gonna fucking not acknowledge it. There's no way you gonna fail to acknowledge it and then not apologize to me for it. Oh no, you gonna acknowledge your whole shit. But anyway, so Torian cut Molly on off, and then she pulls homegirl. Well, she catches them off to the side, and it's like she was being so passive aggressive. She was like, "Oh yeah, he's doing that shit just so confidently, and yeah, he's passionate. He's really, really passionate." And they like, "Bitch, we know what the fuck you doing. That bitch been getting on our goddamn nerves too. You ain't got a fucking front for us." And she's like, "Oh, I thought it was just me." They like, "Nah, bitch, it ain't just you." Later on in the episode, Molly is still going to therapy, which confused me that same scene because, as far as I'm concerned, her therapist was in LA, but her black law firm is in Chicago, right? Well, I thought it was in Chicago. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'll go back and watch the season, but she was there, and then not only that, she had that same suit on, and then further into the episode, we see her back at the law firm because her therapist was like, "Well, bitch, maybe you should stop focusing so much on being a star and just focus on how you can be, how you can assist. You know, don't worry about your kills. Get your assists up for all my gamers out there." And she's like, "Well, shit, maybe I should try that." But before that, she was like, ever since Dro, she's like, "Bitch, who the fuck is Dro? And why am I just now, why am I just now hearing about this Dro? Who is Dro?" Molly's like, so Molly returns to her black ass law firm, and then she lets everybody know. Well, she let homegirls know, if y'all ever need me to help out, I'm always willing to do my part. And then, as she's telling them that, she is eyeing Torian. Now, here's my prediction. I really don't do predictions. I don't watch previews, and I really don't like to do predictions. But my prediction is Molly and Torian are going to fuck because I felt the way I see it happening is Molly's going to see all of that goddamn. She's gonna confront his ass. She's gonna receive fucking strong, stubborn energy back, and she's gonna fucking surrender herself to that shit. But that's just my prediction. So Issa and we got y'all. So as we all know, I said this on my last review, is that Issa don't give a fuck about we got y'all, and it is not even something that fulfills her. But for whatever reason, she has had a hard time just deciding to just step out and do something else. And she had been there 5 years, and I just feel as though if you're not fulfilled at a job for 5 years, if you're not satisfied, then it is that time you need to realize, hey, I need to go somewhere else. Even if I'm not fulfilled at that place either, maybe it can offer me something that this position I'm at now is not. You know what I mean? Instead of just being stuck and just, getting complacent and just telling yourself, well, it's paying the bills. Bitch, plenty of other jobs will pay those same bills if you look. You know what I mean? And Issa, for whatever reason, was just afraid to look. But over at We Got Y'all, I don't even really remember, y'all. I don't even want to lie to y'all. So we're just gonna keep this review going. Maybe it'll come back to me. I do have a few points about it because we did. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. So Issa runs into Lift Bay. She runs into Nathan, and for whatever reason, I felt, but I probably, so now I'll just start telling y'all my predictions. I will start telling y'all my predictions because I felt she would run back into Nathan somewhere, somehow. And I felt that from when he left her that tip after that party lift went down the fucking drain. I felt that they would reconnect somehow, some way. Issa decides that she wants to get tacos, and she runs into Nathan at the taco spot that her and Molly told him to go to instead of whatever fucking place he was getting ready to go, and they immediately started connecting. Issa was fucking mesmerized by those hazel eyes, and she was trying to figure out how she can get some of that hazel nut. Okay, so one thing about this scene I thought was just so cool and so romantic to watch is how Issa and the actor Kendrick Sampson were playing off of each other. Like they were really doing a great job of conveying two people really enjoying each other's time, and then in person, so many, I feel as though so many people just, spend so much time getting to know each other through text and through phone conversations now in this generation that by the time they meet each other, they feel like they know each other. So all of that, just enjoying somebody for the first time is like literally gone because you've gotten to know them so well, I wouldn't say not concretely. I don't know if abstractly is a word, but you got to know them for so long, so well in an abstract way that when you finally do something concrete, it's kind of dull and it's kind of non-existent. So it was so cool just watching the two of them. Literally, you can just see their faces glowing up every time one said the other. Especially Issa, cause she was just cheesing. Y'all know Issa got some big ass teeth, so them teeth was damn near hitting me in my motherfucking forehead watching this episode. So he's like, he's shitting on LA every chance that he gets. And Issa's like, you're not about to keep disrespecting my city. Let me show you what my city is about. So literally they take an entire tour through LA. And the whole time Issa is getting hit up by her brother Amal, talking about he's at Terminal 6. I'm like, did she just forget to pick her brother up from the airport? Because if that was me, I would be pissed. Especially if I had an agreement to get a free ride from your ass and I had to fucking dig into my wallet to take a goddamn Lyft or an Uber home. The fuck kind of shit is that? But Frida's hitting her ass up about work, and Issa does not give a fuck about that. So she ain't had no problem ignoring that text and then later on telling Frida that she was not coming through. But she's showing Nathan all these kind of little spots around LA and Leimert Park, the Fashion Institute of Leimert. And they're just really, really vibing and really, really feeling each other. And it was such a good scene to watch. Now, really quick on Molly. So Molly decides that, she wants to do things a little differently at her black ass law firm, right? So she shows up in this skin tight, provocative ass, eye catching blue dress with the zippers in the back, okay? And I'm like, one thing that killed me is that literally the two, Felicia, and I can't remember the light skinned woman's name, but they were looking at her the same way I just looked like, bitch, why the fuck you got on this tight ass dress? Who are you trying to impress? And then next thing you know, Molly reneges on the deal that she tried to make with these girls to get in with them, and was like, oh, I'm just about to go work with Torian. And then she goes into his office and they like, oh. Another prediction. I feel like Torian has made his way around that office, and Molly's just about to be just another bitch that he done made his way into, and the women are going to know, and they're going to make it known in the next episode. But back to Issa and Nathan. So Issa and Nathan are feeling each other, and Issa opens up about her parents, which always was weird to me, the fact that how don't we know your parents? Like, how haven't we seen them? I mean, we seen Molly's parents because they were part of the storyline last season, but it's like, where's Issa's parents? Because in the first episode, she mentioned that she came from a great family. But it's like, okay, how did you come from a great family to be living in some raggedy-ass apartment complex like the Dunes? And then when you don't have a place to stay, you can't go back home to your parents, or you don't make phone calls so that your parents know that you're moving, like, and then you break up with Lawrence, you don't want to tell your mama, or you don't want, or you're moving in with your ex and your mama don't know. It's like, what the fuck? Why haven't we seen Issa's parents? Especially how you came from this great family and they can't support you. I mean, I can see why you don't want to go to your parents for support, especially the older you get. The older you get, the less inclined or the less you want to ask your parents for anything because you feel like you should have it at a certain point. But what the fuck, Issa? Where are your parents? They're this great family. But then we learned they lived in a nice house. They didn't live in it for long because her parents got divorced. But the fact that we still haven't seen Issa's mom and or father or that part of her life hasn't been explored is just a little off-putting to me. But whatever. Hopefully it'll be developed for the next season. But Issa is dared but before we get to that, Issa was dared by Nathan to tell him when her last relationship was. So she tells that shit about Lawrence, and then she also opens up from the very beginning and lets Nathan know that she cheated on Lawrence, which was very brave of her because, especially in that, when you vibing with somebody, it's like, bitch, you kind of don't want to turn them off at all. So the fact that she was so honest and open about the fact that she cheated and that may or may not repel Nathan was really brave and coming from her. Like, I really appreciated that. And like I said, it was so cool just to see them hoes just smiling back and forth with each other because they were really enjoying each other's time. Like, when I tell y'all, ain't nobody ever made me smile for nothing. Ain't nobody ever made me smile, so I can't even relate to that at all. But he dared her to do that, and then he dared her to break in to her house's backyard. They go to the backyard, and she's like, "Okay, bitch, it's my turn. I gotta dare. I dare you to fucking skinny dip in this goddamn pool." And Nathan does it with just a little bit of reluctance. Not as much as she reluctant, but the the funny thing is, and the really true thing is for a lot of people is that she asked him strip naked and she watched the entire fucking time. I'm like, yeah, exactly. And then he decides to dare her to do the same thing, and he was like, "No, motherfucker, I'm not looking away. Get your naked ass in this pool right now." So they get in the pool, and this is when Nathan just started to look a little to me. Like, I feel like they're going with the whole Ricky from Barbershop thing. Like, yeah, he's attractive, he has green eyes, he's light skinned, but he's that attractive light skinned green eyed person with a goddamn past and shit. Like, he's been through some shit, he's broken, he's scarred, he's probably a felon, he's probably done jail with Apollo Nida. Like, he's probably done all of these things, and I feel like my prediction for where this is gonna go with he and Issa is that he's probably not gonna be good for her, and we're not gonna see him. We're probably gonna see him for the rest of the season, but it's gonna be clear that we're not gonna see his ass next season. Okay, so that's a prediction for Nathan. But she's in the pool, and she asks him about the scar that's on his shoulder, and he didn't even answer the question. He just started talking about what happened with him in Houston and how I like how Issa took some reality from Hurricane Harvey that hit Houston and brought it into the show. So he pretty much was like, look, everything else is gone. The only thing tying me down to Houston is me. I want to do some more shit. I want to see some more shit. So he packed what was left of his shit and came to LA. And she was like, man, that's really courageous of you to just get up and leave. And he said sometimes you just gotta do you, even if it don't make sense to anyone else, which was very true. Like, we have these defining moments in life, and you cannot wait for someone to give you permission to sink or swim. You have to decide that for yourself. And that's the gist of what he was telling her, and it really resonated with her. But after the fact, not even before they can have this deep ass moment, the real owners of the house who were still there, seeing they naked black asses in the pool, and they called the cops. So they scurry on the way, and they go back to Issa's house, and they collect a little more, and they move a little fast for me. I don't move that fast at all. I really don't. But they moved a little fast, and we'll see how well that goes further in the season. But Issa's at work, and she's just looking at the computer. She's looking at the people around her, and she's like, I do not want to spend the rest of my life on any more time than I already have with these people or this job that I don't give a fuck about. I don't give a fuck, excuse me, I don't give a fuck about Sarah. I don't give a fuck about Kitty. I don't give a fuck about Ken. I don't give a fuck about Patricia. And I don't give a fuck about Joanne. I barely give a fuck about Frida. She's like, I do not want to be here anymore. So Frida's trying to give her this goddamn assignment, and she's like, bitch, I quit. And it was so funny. It's like I had recently quit TGI Friday. It's like, y'all, when I tell y'all, I was like literally debating myself the morning I had to go in, and I was like having a conversation with myself. I'm like, I hate it. I do not want to return. I quit. So I called that bitch on the phone like, hey, this is I from State Farm, and I quit. I was gone. I couldn't do it. I refused to do it. And Issa refused to do We Got Y'all any more than what she already had already done. Didn't blame her at all. She walked up out of there like Jill Scott in the Golden video. She was gone. And I have to say, this is the best episode of this season so far. It has gotten better. The progression is decent. Maybe this is just maybe Issa just wanted to take a progressive approach to Insecure, but it was really, really good. I really enjoyed this episode. But like I said, my predictions for this season, I feel like Molly's gonna fuck Torian. I feel like the homegirls at work are gonna give her shit for it. They're gonna give her hell for it. I feel like Torian's gonna have a reputation for doing that at work. I feel like Nathan's gonna be bad for Issa, and it's gonna blow up in her face. Um, and that's just what I got from this episode of Insecure. But there's a part, I swear, y'all, because I know for a fact early in the episode, Issa was clocking. She was really clocking out of We Got Y'all, and then after she met with Nathan, that just further confirmed to her that it was time to go. Like that just reinforced the idea that it was really time for her to get the fuck on out of there, and that's what she did. And I feel like we need to pay attention to shit like that in our lives. Like if you, especially if you've been thinking on some shit and somebody just says something or something happens, it's like, what more signs do you need? Get up out of there. And even not even just on work, just abroad, just take it for what it is. It will be okay. You will figure it out, and you will make a way. Trust me, you gonna do what you got to do to make it a great situation for yourself, y'all. But anyway, that's my review for episode 4, Fresh Like, season 3 of Insecure. Like I said, it was a really great episode, the best episode thus far. Daniel, I don't really give a fuck to see you again because you an asshole. And I don't even see how you can come back from that, because this is like, oh, I always save you from some shit, and then especially in that sense, because like I said on the previous episode, you blew that situation for yourself, Daniel. And I've talked to people who have said, who are artists, and were like, well, this is your music, this is what you're passionate about, and you're trying to stay true to yourself as an artist. Yes, I understand all of that, but you do that. It's like Tiny said it best. It's okay to do you in your own lane. You were in a lane with Khalil. Y'all made the agreement. How about we gonna do this track and we're gonna play it for Spider tomorrow? Even when y'all went in the studio, Khalil said, Daniel, play him that track that we did, and instead you play the track that you do. So what if Spider wants to do that track? What about me? I'm the reason why you got here. So you're gonna say, fuck the opportunity pretty much put in your hands, and then you're gonna say fuck whatever I'm trying to do too. Like, you ruined that. Then when Issa asks you, you want to get all defensive and try to tear her down because you ain't shit, or you don't know how to do your own thing. Whatever, y'all. Like I said, send viewer questions to AskTheMaverickQuestions at gmail.com. I will leave the link in the description box. Y'all have a great one.